Hello, everybody. Before we get started here, there's a couple of things to mention. But first, I need you all to bear with me while I address someone's plural. Dear YouTube and Google, my last two live streams got blanked by you early. I've confirmed that a couple of my friends who work there are at work right now. And several more will be there in the morning. I would not blank this one. There'll be a reaction. I'm serious. And again, that could be fun. Anyway, as usual, start with the rules. And we have a new one I'm not happy about. So first of all, do the homework. Please do the homework. It is right down there below the video. It is in the description box below the video of every video I put out there. And it's clearly labeled homework. So it will answer your next 500 questions. Whatever's in your head right now, if you haven't done the homework, it will answer that and then your next 500 questions. Yellowstone is broken. It can erupt effusively, which means it can bubble up and over, but that's about all. No big, scary, explosive eruption. Effusive only. 'Tis broken. XDMs, please keep them clean. How do I say this? I'm not talking about swearing. I don't care about that, obviously. But every other day, there is somebody else checking my DMs for me. And when some of you are sending me those photos, sometimes I'm not the one who sees them. So please keep them clean. Any questions about Observer Ranch, please check out observerranch.com. It has all the events, all the details, everything. And if you are interested in being one of the more long-term individuals, and I mean long-term, send us an email through there and say you are looking for one of the long-term lots and information about that. Well, we got through that pretty quickly, right? 2 minutes, 30 seconds. So let's see the chat. Oh my God, you guys figured out it was nudes. Okay. Yes, people are sending me nudes in the DMs on X, formerly known as Twitter. Please don't do that. I mean, I care a little bit, but I care a lot more when it's not my day to check the DMs and I get the complaints about them. Please. Why are your eyes so white? What? Are they? I need to shave, actually. Why are my teeth so white? Anyway. All right. Rules. YouTube, Google. Anyway, fire them at me. Come on, let's do it. Is the sun currently causing blackouts across the earth? Yes and no. The real underlying cause is the fact that Earth's magnetic field is weakening. We are in the middle of a geomagnetic excursion, which is a interesting term to just say rapid magnetic pole shift. This is part of Earth's disaster cycle. But one of its primary effects is it weakens Earth's magnetic field, which allows the sun, even when it's not doing very much, to have a greater impact on the planet. So my answer is yes and no. Any more about the PSYOP? Yeah, almost certainly. Have you guys, I mean, you guys have noticed, right? I got to admit, I thought it would take a little more than 2 days for them to go full bore on this. We need to control the narrative about space weather thing. Maybe not. We'll see. So far, it is kind of minor. I know that like when people like us see these, see these things, we get all excited like, oh, they're talking about it. And yeah, they are. By the way, Mary, thank you very much for the teal pair. You know, I love the teal pairs. they are relatively tame as such articles go, but I do think it is going towards that quickly. All right. Scrupulousness. That's a heck of a name. What type of extreme weather, hot and cold, are you expecting over the next few years before the big event in the new Valley of the Sun? Well, the new Valley of the Sun is a big place. It is the eastern range of the Rockies from up in Alberta, which please leave Canada and become the 51st state, please, all the way down along that eastern range into Mexico, just past where Jeff Bezos' bug out facility is in the Sierra Diablo Mountains. Sierra Diablo. Shocker. I expect more extreme everything. Hotter, hot, colder, cold, rainier, rain, more floods. If it's a drought, a worse drought. The extremification of weather, basically. I saw something interesting. Is the sun angry or happy lately? Describe its mood. How does one do such a thing? She's acting like a female. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. She's acting like a female. Sorry, ladies. ATB, examples of mainstream controlling the narrative, question mark. I guess, what could they say to stay ahead of panic? That's not what they're trying to do. They are trying to, right now, they are in their calibration phase. And that's, I guess, what I meant when I said that these were a little tamer. They are putting these out for one purpose and one purpose only. First, to sort of prime people's brains to see this kind of thing. And second, seeing how people react, specifically the ones who aren't like, what is this about the sun? I don't know anything about space weather. Tell me more. Those who know a little bit, they want to see what our reaction is so that they can calibrate, adjust, etc., for when they are going to attempt to actually create a panic over this. And yeah, that's coming. Like, take it to the bank, honestly. Just, it's actually comfortable leaning back like this. I do the whole show that way? I don't think so. But yeah, panic incoming. When the poles shift, will the north-south lines move also? I don't know what you mean by lines. I'm not sure what that means. And yeah, the Earth's going to do a 90-degree tilt like that, so everything's going to change pretty much. That's an interesting question. The Earth flips one way, then back again next time. Correct. Do you know if this time we are coming or going? And I get what you're saying. No, I have no idea. And like, how would I even try to figure out what the base configuration is? I mean, you know what? Actually, I think we are in the base configuration now, if I had to guess. And we are going to the out of phase tilt scenario. I have nothing to back that up. It's just if I had to guess. What is that question? Okay, make sure I didn't miss any. Okay, back down. Moon Tree Collective says, what are the chances of only a magnetic pole shift and not a micronova or mantle decoupling? Man, I'd love that. I have to go by what the evidence says. And when I started attempting to put this story together, the overarching principle, the foundational law that I stuck to, which I wish Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock could do this. There was a catastrophist not all that long ago, Frank Hibben, and his charge to the field of catastrophism was explain all the evidence, not just the impact craters or the iridium. Explain those things, how they show up every cycle, the magnetic pole shift every cycle, the disappearance of species and the appearance of new ones, a la Robert Felix, dumbass. Explain the volcanic activity, explain the super tsunamis. Have to explain everything. And Moontree, the reason why I went off on that little tangent is because, look, I don't have a crystal ball. I have a red light. And I'm not Jesus. All I can do really is do the best I can to explain all of the disaster evidence, what shows up in these disaster layers every time. And for that, you kind of need the micronova and the 90-degree tilt. There's no getting around it. Now, on the 6,000-year half cycles, I don't know if that's the case. If we do get the X1000 super flare every 6,000 years, which is what mainstream now thinks is happening, that, based on my discussions with Robert Schoch, and does anybody remember the interview I did with him like over a decade ago? That was the first time it was said, and it was based on the pre-video conversations he and I had, that not only could the Ice Age have ended very quickly, it could have ended in a couple of hours, which if we get an X1000 and we're in the middle of a geomagnetic excursion, it's cooking the poles. Absolutely cooking the polar regions. There's going to be unfathomable meltwater. NOAA's looking pretty accurate for that, but that wouldn't unlock the crust in the mantle. So that's what happened 6,000 years ago. We are at the 12,000 year mark now. I can't explain all of the evidence without the micronova and the tilt. I hope that is a sufficient answer for your question. 108th Street says, appreciate you. World in Peril. Do you recommend one edition over the other? Any redactions made between? Yes, there absolutely was. But here's the thing. I don't know how to tell you which one to go for, because I have a physical copy. About a year ago, somebody pointed out an online PDF, but the online PDF was altered. And I understand, I haven't sat through the audiobook version. I understand the audiobook version is altered as well. In the one I've got, it talks about the alternating layers, polar fossils, tropical fossils, polar fossils, tropical fossils. In the edited one, the only thing it mentions is that when they dug down, they found some tropical plant fossils. And that's it. That's all I know. And I don't know how to tell you which one to look for. Everything looked the same to me, except for those 4 chapters right in the middle of the book that talk about the disaster. And that's what World in Peril is. It's a whole bunch of chapters like, we went to the Arctic. This is why we went to the Arctic. This is how damn hard it is to drive around and fly airplanes and do all this other stuff in the Arctic. And then the end is a whole bunch of just random stuff about the after and later portions of the mission. One of which, by the way, talks about Admiral Byrd being up there with Major White at the exact time that book of his says he was going inside the hollow earth in Antarctica and meeting the ant people inside the earth. Guaranteed, matter of fact, at that time, he was up in the Arctic with Major White. I am not saying he lied about what happened. I am definitively saying that the timeline portrayed in that book of his is wrong. Anything's possible. He may have done it at some other time, but he didn't do it when that book said he did it, because he was in the Arctic with Major White. But those 4 chapters in the middle are about the disaster cycle, the magnetic pole flip, Earth tilting 90 degrees. That's where the changes were made. Damn, 108th. Hell of a question, man. Hell of a question, for real. What elements or what metals, elements, livestock affected by flare? Well, everything. Everything. To what degree? Obviously, the more conductive, the more it's going to be impacted. But that doesn't just go for elements, that can go for molecules as well. Hydrogen and oxygen are minimally reactive. You put them together in a water molecule and have it bent, creating its own magnetic field, its own magnetic moment. You want to be in the middle of a swimming pool in a lightning storm. As for livestock, good news, bad news situation here. The bad news is that absolutely these things can affect every biological cell on this planet. But the good news is that this happens fairly regularly in terms of geologic time, and it's never killed the planet. So, good question, Neko. And now I understand what you were asking me earlier. Any news on the Beaufort Gyre? No. Not since like a year and a half ago when they were like, it has stabilized and is ready to release. And then after that, they were like, okay. TG, is there a possibility the elites really know the magnitude of the stuff that is coming and hence the reason why they're prepping? When are you going to panic? Yes, never. I don't panic. I make fun of people. I swear. I make them look stupid if I have the opportunity. Panic? Nope. Can we stop the future? Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Okay, there it is. In today's update, the SUVI 131 angstrom view showed all sunspots pulse together. Is that an artifact of the camera? Do sunspots pulse in sync? Sometimes they do a little bit. What you're seeing on SUVI is some kind of weird artifact. Every flare on that one, all the active regions seem to have a flare as well. You don't see that on SDO. You don't see that even on the EUVI from Soho, whenever it happens to luckily catch a flare, which is not all the time. But yeah, no, yeah, Jacob, I think you're on the mark when you're thinking that's an artifact, and I don't know why that's happening. Nothing for you, sorry, but well done. What regimens or treatments did you do to improve your facial structure and looks? You're looking great compared to a few years back. First of all, Moontree, I really appreciate that. In addition to being about as dialed in when it comes to diet, exercise, and removing stuff like smoking and drinking and all that other stuff, lymphatic drainage. It's not just for the looks, but lymphatic drainage is huge for like a ton of different things when it comes to health. And yeah, it does make you look better. Beyond that, I do collagen maxing and red light. Got to do something. Single again at 40. I'm just going to walk into that blind. Hell no. In terms of regimens, I don't put it this way. Nothing goes on here. Nothing. I don't put anything on. I wash my face with hot water, and that's it. When the flip subcoder, what's up, man? When the flip occurs, how can we determine which two locations will effectively spin in place? Giza and very close to Hawaii. 2013 SOOG did a career change to water treatment, currently getting certified. Would you all need someone with knowledge on water purification and a handyman? Very possible. Again, if you have questions about that stuff, send us an email. But yeah, I mean, that sounds like stuff that's pretty important. And we do have 2 wells on the ranch. So in an Earth-directed X-class flare, does the initial proton storm do damage, or does it take time? Will I have time to protect solar panels, batteries, etc.? So first of all, in the micronova or any kind of super flare, you're not protecting anything. Even a Faraday cage isn't going to work. If we're talking about, what the sun might do as Earth's magnetic field is weakening, that sends us back to the Stone Age 5, 10, 20 years before the micronova and actual Earth tilting over. If it's big enough, the proton storm can do it. If it's big enough, the flare itself can do it. It can produce the same thing that GoldenEye, high altitude nuke does, high altitude EMP. simply from the ionization of the D, E, and F layers of the ionosphere by the X-rays and extreme ultraviolet of the flare itself. If it's the CME and the geomagnetic storm that end up taking us out, you got a couple of days from the eruption. And luckily, that should give me enough time to tell everyone what's happening. One hopes. No promises. NECA, what would be essential books to stock? Oh, whatever you need. And here's the thing. We're going to start doing sit rep prepping days at the ranch where we actually go over everything you are going to need in all 4 stages of this disaster. The now, the solar blackout due to Earth's weakening magnetic field, the week of hell when the micronova and Earth tilt actually happens, and then the next stage of Earth where the new golden age is here, but we have to learn how to live in it without electricity or society or anything like that. The point I'm making with that is there are some things that are relatively pragmatic. So for example, if I was to say, what plants do I need to be growing? Wouldn't you be like, do you have any experience, or what agricultural zone are you in, or how's your soil? So, I mean, when it comes to what books, what skills are you going to need that you don't have right now? What things are you going to need to know and understand that aren't up there right now? What things are you going to need to teach future generations that you can't even begin to imagine how to do without an instructing guide like that? So does that help? I'm asking you questions like you're going to answer me. I hope that's helpful, but it requires personal contemplation of your situation, your location, your family, who you're surviving with, what are your needs going to be, things like that, and then tailoring that for you and your family or anybody else for whom you are responsible, which in my case is quite a number of people, which is why we have a library at the ranch. I hope that was helpful. If it wasn't, Nick, I'm really sorry. Elizabeth, thank you for the teal pair and the little break from answering questions. I really appreciate that. Annie, you too. Elizabeth and Annie pulled them back to back. I appreciate that. Okay, break over. Ice Fury, how much galactic dust are we currently measuring in our atmosphere and around the sun, and how much higher versus normal? It's hard to say about in the solar system. All we know is that from the upper corona, like the highest part of the sun's atmosphere, all the way out past Pluto, there is more dust, an increasing amount of dust, and it's too much. It's way more than they expected. Earth in general, what we know that is that as of a couple of years ago, compared to 100 years ago, we had 55% more dust in our atmosphere. Now, they are attempting to blame increased winds in the Sahara, blowing extra dust up. Problem is, dust blows off the Sahara all the time. You can watch it on satellite, and that's what fertilizes the Pacific, actually. It's not getting lofted to the stratosphere or the mesosphere. No. That's the galactic dust. And so I know that was kind of a wordy and non-specific answer, but that's the best I got. Sometimes I just don't know. And I hope it's okay that sometimes I just don't know the answer. And when that's the case, I'm going to tell you I don't know. Oh, tell you what I know for sure. My new tattoo is a little itchy. They were talking about your research on Timcast the other night. I know, I saw that, but they were saying the planet rolls over in space, but it's a crustal shift. Yeah, it's a crustal shift. I assume you meant crustal and not crystal. Yeah. In my model, the crust decouples from the mantle. I am well aware of the ethical skeptic, Craig and Jason, Craig Stone and Jason Wild on X, talking about a slightly different version, although I'm pretty sure that ethical skeptics version is actually a lot closer to mine than some. There are people who talk about the Jenna Bekoff effect, open-minded approach, another one we interact with all the time there. Yeah, in my version, it's a crustal shift. And by the way, I mention those names again. If you really want to stay up to date and not get propaganda and actually get real news, you got to get on X. I've tried everywhere else. It's the only place. And mainstream news now basically gets their news from X and are significantly like a day to 3 days behind. If you want constant, and I mean every single day, epic level data insights, research, updates on this stuff, get on X, follow me, follow Open-Minded Approach, follow The Ethical Skeptic, Craig Stone, and Jason Wild. 5 of us got it on lock there. And I'll promise you this, even though we all have a slightly different take, like I don't know about Open-Minded Approach, but the other 3, they do not go with my exact theory and my exact story of how this goes down. I don't care. And when I talk about my version, they don't care. We are friends. We're supporting each other kind of thing. Because at the end of the day, the disaster is coming and you got to get ready for it somehow. And I have actually gotten some pretty darn good insights from those folks. So kudos to them. Big props to them. If you're on X and you can't find one of them, just follow me and you're going to see me interact with them on a regular basis anyway. So you'll find them. But I digress. All right. Scrolling. Oh my goodness. I missed a lot, didn't I? Okay. What are your thoughts about the flux tube strengthening over Siberia causing the magnetic polar excursion? Complete and total nonsense. Complete and total bullshit. Total bullshit. It's the best I could do. Susie Rose Finley, live like a Viking. That is a hell of a teal pair right there. Looks like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in Ghostbusters. I love it. Rob G, thank you for I love these teal pairs. They make me so happy. And it's been that way since the very first live stream. I don't know why. I just love the damn stuff. Hawaii is close to the opposite side of the world than Giza. Yeah, that's why those are the axes of the tilt. Remember how the tilt goes. You take Greenland there, and you put Greenland at the equator. But to do that, if you're going to be doing that, over on the sides here, it's not changing latitude, it's just spinning. Giza, which is why they don't get the flood this time, they get the fire. And then Hawaii. Oh, that instantly just reminded me of that scene from the movie 2012 where the guy's like, what is that? The state of Hawaii. Isn't that Russian pilot just like such a G? Some of the stuff that comes out of his mouth, like how he's personifying that giant Russian Antov plane. Come on, baby. Lift your big for Sasha. I used to like movies a lot. To the best of your knowledge, guess how bad will the hurricanes become over the course of the excursion? I wouldn't expect them to actually be that much worse. And here's the reason why. For the same exact reason that when they talk about global warming amplifying hurricanes, it's total horseshit as well. Because global warming, actually, just for a second in your head, picture global warming as they try to tell it to us is real. One, that should weaken the jet streams, increase upper level shear, and actually cause fewer and less intense hurricanes. And this process should do the same thing now, because it is a geomagnetic excursion. And one of the other primary things is more cosmic rays, solar protons, Van Allen relativistic electrons are coming into the atmosphere. The overall conductance and global electric circuit amplification might counteract that. So we might not see that. We might see it, stabilize or maybe even go the other way. But I wouldn't expect that to be the worst of the weather that we're going to see during this event. What is the purpose of the red light? It makes me look cool. I'm not actually mad. Why? I just thought that would be funny. Okay. Such as observing the sun after no electricity. I recommend a solar scope. I've got an H alpha here at the ranch. I've got the big Celestron with a solar filter on it. So I can watch the sun multiple ways. You should be able to do that too if you want. It is certainly okay if you don't know something. Thank you, Gran. I appreciate that. What's wrong with you? I don't know. I can think of some ladies who'd be happy to tell you. If we get hit with the Carrington type event before the nova, isn't it only going to take out the part of the Earth facing it? No. So it could leave half the planet fine. No. No. Absolutely not. These are global events. To even have induction, you need the full ring current. Day, night, 6 a.m., 6 p.m., doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Actually, they do believe that the morning hours take it slightly worse than everywhere else. The earliest morning hours, like sunrise, 6 a.m. type stuff. That's what takes it the worst. But we're talking like 2% here. You get a Carrington level event, the world is toast. Everything. Uh-oh, scrolled too far. Like a moron. Ben, I'm very interested to hear your thoughts on underwater volcano off the coast of Oregon. Do you think it is an immediate threat? I have no idea. I'm not down there. I read the articles that talk about, we think it's going to erupt sometime this year. I don't know how the hell they would know that. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. If it does, please take out Portland and Seattle. Please. Hola, Ben. If you weren't in Camirado, what would your everyday carry piece be, and what weapon platform? First of all, do you think we can't have guns in Colorado? Do you think I don't walk around with a gun every single day here in Colorado? And look, I know somebody's going to rip on me for my everyday carry, but I will say this. I am in the camp of, hey, look, not everybody likes every gun the same or every same thing about a gun. People who dislike this gun for this reason, you can put that on everybody. I love my Smith & Wesson 9mm. Love it. It's the MP. It's the M&P version. I love it. It feels good. I'm good with it. That's my carry. And don't forget Fire Dog. Here in Colorado, the sheriffs run the show. Denver does this, dyes their hair, gives out tax money to illegals, but the county sheriffs run the show here. And thank God for that. Scrolling. Can we get a quick up to speed for people just getting into this? No. No. It's right below the video. And the one that's listed, the catastrophe evidence in the homework, it's less than 20 minutes. Please watch it. Please. I'm just waiting for people to start making fun of Smith & Wessons here. Ben, you like a stupid gun, huh? If you say so. You building underground? Question mark. Can you share your build? Yes and no to the second part. I meant science books on observing to teach. Oh, I'm sure there are some good ones. I don't have any off the top of my head. The most important stuff to preserve is going to be basic mathematics, basics of architecture. Architecture, yeah. How does it feel? How does this blueprint feel to you? Architecture, basic math, engineering, civil engineering. Other than that, your guess would be as good as mine. Katie Light, thank you for the teal pair. Made me smile. Dark Letter Play says, so what are some safe locations from the weather and flooding events besides Colorado in the U.S.? It's a long hike from Florida. Well, that's the closest one to Florida. I can promise you that. There's some really good spots in Mongolia, though, in the mountains right along the Chinese-controlled border area. Great spots. Like, I think everybody there has a very good chance to survive. Gabby, thank you for the teal pair. You flirting with me? Another biblical connector, Leviticus 25:8. Jubilee cycle is 49 plus 1 years. 120 Jubilee years occur every 6,001 years. Coincidence? Huh. That's interesting. I'm going to look into that. Leviticus 25:8. Okay. Good call on the shield. Mine too. California CCW. Right on. Sometimes I don't even consider it. I like open carrying, to be honest. I love the way people look at me when I'm open carrying. You should see the looks I give back to the ones who don't look at me in a good way. So look, Colorado, this is still a West, boss. Like, a lot of times when I go out, I get a lot of I get fist bumps, this, that, everything. But when I get a different kind of look, nightmarish. If you think a micronova is highly likely, why even prep? Won't that make things generally unlivable even if you survive? Moontree, did it make things unlivable 12,000 years ago or 24,000 years ago or 36,000 years ago or 48,000 years ago or 60,000 years ago or 72,000 years ago? No. Why even prep? How about this? I got 3 kids, and I believe that our souls get to choose when we come here. We're here for a reason. You mean to tell me throughout all of eternity in space and time, you made the decision to come here and you're just going to bitch out? What the? Really? I don't think so. Grab your helmet, grab your cleats, suit up. Cosmic Super Bowl incoming. Fix that attitude, Moontree. I'm sorry if I'm being hard on you right now. Fix that attitude. Yesterday. Grok says galactic magnetic sheet orders of magnitude weaker than Earth and Sun's magnetic fields. Question mark. True. Question mark. Magnetic kick insufficient. Question mark. 1. Why are you asking Grok? Are you insane, Jeremy? I got a better idea. Why don't you go ahead and, if you have questions about how the sun affects the weather, go ahead and ask Michael Mann. He's a great source on that one, too. Grok. It's not about the order of magnitude. It is about the total field pressure, magnetic pressure. Magnetic kick insufficient. And don't forget, the magnetic kick is one of 2 nova triggers brought by the galactic current sheet. The big one is the dust. All right, I'm getting a little salty here. I'm not trying to do that. Scott Walters, appreciate the support, brother. Never open carry, you become the first target in a crime. Horrifyingly bad advice. That's the dumbest. Do you have any idea how many crimes don't happen in locations if people are strapped? IL 128. That's just horrible advice. Horrible advice. But they didn't survive on iPhones. Mental illness will kill the masses. I agree. A lot of them will. I don't care about them. I care about those with the eyes to see, the ears to hear, and who were somehow divinely guided to this channel. Nobody makes it out alive. Why not at least try? There you go, DB. Why not try? Why not try? If you die, you die. Okay, fine. Try. Why not? Are you charging? Good, you're charging. Yes, when the ex-wife texts, I still have to read it and I still have to respond or do something if necessary. In addition to having to, I want to. Melissa, thank you for the teal pair. Gran, I don't prep to survive. I prep because I think I will survive. Ooh, I like that. I like that one. But they didn't oh, wait, I got that one already. What will my superpowers be after being blasted with solar radiation? I really want to say something funny and inappropriate right now. ATB just been a supporter since 2019. No jab. Love you, fam. Right on, Neko. Good job on avoiding the... By the way, if you didn't get the jab, congratulations on passing the test and surviving and making it through a $1 trillion propaganda campaign. Well done. Well done. Ben, when did you get so aggro? Every live stream seems to be you going off on your own followers. Just saying. Thomas Page, I have not gone off on anybody today. But you know what? Fuck you. Thanks for the teal pair. SO, not S0. Like it. Can you expand on why the great year theory doesn't work? Second non-illuminant sun outside the solar system. Because no such thing exists. It's completely ridiculous. Mathematically, scientifically, from a physics perspective, it doesn't work. There is zero evidence to support it in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. We can spot non-luminescent Y dwarfs, no hotter than a pot of coffee, way past the Centauri system. No, there is no dark star. There is nothing like that. And the great year theory is complete nonsense. I'm sorry. I scrolled too far. Unsalty moment. Thank you for your service, Ben. Gabby, I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. Holy moly. All right. Yeah, I scroll like a 2-year-old. I'm sorry. Regarding crustal shift, is it the crust moves to different position and the core stays put? That's my idea, yes. Or is it the core moves first and the crust follows? That's not how I see it happening. The core and the mantle don't stop doing anything. The crust is unlocked, it shifts and still has some of its inertial turning. And then when it reaches its equilibrium point with the heaviest aspects, the ice caps, being at the point of greatest centrifugal force, the equator, a basic physics principle for all spinning objects, and it stays there, and the micronova energy fully integrates into the core and is dissipated from the low velocity zone, the mantle LVZ catches and relocks to the crust, and it will stay like that until the next micronova. I hope that helps, Tony. Mark, right back at you, buddy. I didn't get the jab, but I think I was negatively affected by the coward shedding. You've seen the future. You can change it. Don't get doom-pilled, Ben. Look forward to making it to the other side of things with you. Stay frosty. Right on, man. Right on, Tyler. And thank you for that support. I appreciate that. I am doom white-pilled, I think. So I am doom-pilled, but I'm not black-pilled over it. I hope that makes sense. In fact, the fact that you type doom-pilled tells me, Tyler, you probably understand exactly what the hell just came out of my mouth. Right on, brother. I'll see you on the other side too, man. And I love that confidence. I really do. Don't underestimate confidence. But goodness, did I catch up? I am caught up with. Oh my goodness, no, I'm not. Okay. I said that, and then like 1,000 things popped up in the chat. Susie Rose Finley, prep as if you're living in the Vikings era. Learn everything you can. Will make it to the other side. I came here for a reason. Live like a Viking. Susie, Godspeed to you and Leia. Can't wait to see you guys back out at the ranch. Unjabbed GC, an electrician with a military background looking to relocate from San Francisco, the tomb of California. I just registered number on your site. I don't know what that means. I just registered with hashtag on your site. Rerun, I'm not entirely sure what that means, but kudos to literally that whole comment. Good skills. If you're talking about walking distance, you need to be somewhere between Pueblo and Canyon City. The chat is real messed up for me, guys. Is the chat? Is it just the chat? No, it's not just the chat. All right. Can you guys see me? Can y'all see me? That's a lot of yeses. Hey, look, we're like almost an hour into this. This is much better than the last two times. We got to give it that, right? This is way better than the last two times. I will say this. One of my friends at YouTube, who I'm sort of getting the feeling that he is not only the highest up of my friends at YouTube, he's also the smartest. He thinks, because he is seeing this error with other people, including some that they would have no reason to blank on purpose, that it might actually be part of the technological issues that are happening all over the world. That's why these live streams are getting whacked like that. We'll see. David Yeoman, thank you for the purple hippo. I liked it. Starlight, your message is retracted. I can't see it, but whatever it was, Godspeed to you. I like your name, and thank you very much for the support. Look at all these comments. Holy crap. Where's a good spot to survive the upcoming disaster in Australia? Somewhere else. Look, there are a couple of survival spots in Australia. I can assure you, thousands of observers are going there. I don't know what to tell people in Australia. Like, the best thing I can say for people in Australia is if you could all get on solarkillshot.org and somehow connect with each other so you're not fighting, or if you get to these bug out zones and you see a bunch of people there, like if you can just blurt out, I'm a suspicious observer, Space Weather News, yeah, that's what you got, like a 50-50 shot of whoever it is you're seeing is there for the exact same reason you are. I'm nervous. I'm nervous for Australia. I'm nervous for all the observers who are Australians. Ben, life has sucked lately. I have been a supporter. 2006, I lost my login website from then. I live in Oregon now. Is Colorado, New Mexico the best place for my family? I have 2 little ones, 3 years and 20 months. I would say yes to your primary question. I am really sorry that life has sucked. And to do, YouTube. Wow. Really? I actually got a warning on my screen just now. I got a fucking warning on my screen just now. I need to text somebody. Yeah, they're doing it again. Fire away. Have fun with that. Hey, YouTube, Google, you were complicit in this lie. Complicit in the murdering of millions of people. Complicit in the unnecessary deaths of millions of unborn babies because of those miscarriages. You are responsible. God save you if I make a trip out to your headquarters. Anyway. Oh, I see some of you know I know Zach Voorhees. He's not who I'm talking about, although when he was there, he may have been the smartest guy in the entire company. I don't think Zach gets to watch the live streams very often, but Zach Voorhees, if you're watching, dude, I miss you. I love you. Come visit us again, please. Did you guys see that he did come and visit me a while ago? We got a picture. I posted it on X. It was awesome. Anyway, it's been about an hour anyway, so let's see. Yeah. All right. So right now, guys, it is not really behaving, the chat. Show us the warning. What did they say? What do you mean show you the warning? How am I going to show you the warning? You want me to pull my camera out of my laptop here and turn it around at the thing that's no longer on my screen? Oy, oy, oy. Anyway, guys, I feel like we got some good questions answered. If there is something I can impart upon you right now, let's keep an eye open for these controlled narratives, space weather, and then eventually magnetic pole shift and Earth disaster cycle stories. And I hate saying this because it sounds like I'm a total homer, but when they do this, our main chance is for you to just blast the shit out of the comment sections, telling them to come here and learn something real, because we've been talking about it for a decade and a half. And everything that they're saying, everything we've been seeing, we've been telling you to watch for. And now we're telling you they're lying to you. If we're going to defeat this narrative control psyop that they've got planned, it's going to be you guys who pull it off, not me. I mean, I'm going to need to be there to have the thing ready to hand over. It's going to be you guys who points them in my direction. You want to save souls, you cute. Notice for chat, do the homework. There's a reason it's there. Yeah. All right. The other last thing I'll say, right down below every single video I post, under the section called homework in the description box, right down there, do the homework, especially the catastrophe evidence. It's really important. Could Rock Eagle, Georgia be a type of petroglyph? I don't know what Rock Eagle is. Alex, I'm not familiar with that one. I'll check it out though. But if you're saying it looks like Squatterman, my first guess is yes. Chuck, yes, and absolutely not. All right, guys. This was fun. Can you give some opinion on the pole shift in Europe? I asked once 6 months ago. You did not want to comment. I don't know what you're asking me there. If you're asking me where is going to be good in Europe, almost nowhere. Way too many people, way too tightly packed. The eastern half of the continent is probably going to get some of the micronova flash burn. Tsunamis from every angle. Campi Flegrei in Italy. Santorini in Greece. Good Lord. Scarier than Australia. How's that for an answer? All right, guys. I will see you in the morning for the daily show. Hopefully the sun is done with these large flares. No, none of those flares from today. There were several. Yeah, none of them are aimed our way. I am eagerly awaiting to see what is coming over the eastern limb into view, though, because those umbral fields are titanic. Titanic. Last thing here, Jen. It's possible. I don't know for sure. If you've got a cast iron stove, might as well do your best to see if it'll hold up, because that would be invaluable. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the morning for the daily show. Be safe, everyone.